Welcome back to PAYE 2011 with SARS. We're taking an in-depth look at the latest changes to the PAYE process, including the introduction of biannual reconciliation for employers. Still with me in studio is Mark Kingon, Group Executive at SARS. Mark, let's chat about some of the other changes that have been made. SARS will no longer be accepting CSV files from payroll systems. Why is that, and how is it?
Maybe we need to just go and highlight what we mean by CSV just very quickly. Historically, all payroll systems have created, when they gave data out, a file, which they call it's in a CSV format, which is just a comma-delimited file or comma-separated file. We accepted that historically. We put a new software, which we'll get to just now, easyfile, which takes that and it gives it to us in some other format. Now, I don't want to make it complicated for the viewers, but essentially we used to accept that file directly into our core systems. We'll no longer do that.
This is the CSV.
The CSV file. Now, if I go look at the data, less than 4,000 people actually did it last year. But for those 4,000, they will not be able to give that file directly to us. They've got to upload it into this other software, which we do provide free to employers.
Yeah. Why these changes?
Well, essentially, you don't want multiple channels of data coming into. You want one channel. And we want that one channel to be the data output from the easyfile piece of software which we provide to the employer. And if you've got multiples, it's been more control at our branches as to how it comes in. We prefer one type of format to come in. And it obviously simplifies things ultimately with all our systems. It's important that. And there's also a risk in that CSV files are unencrypted. In other words, the data therein is open. So an employer would bring a CD in. If it gets lost, all your employees' data is open for anybody to review. And we believe that is risky, and we don't like that. And so our software creates data transmissions which are encrypted. So nobody can try and get that data and find out their employees' bank details and whatever else that might be on that disk.
Yeah. Before we carry on with the easyfile, let's go back to this data that's required by employers, which you said they will not be necessarily aware of earlier. What is required?
Well, there's a number of things. Obviously, the person's name and initials and all of that. And it's interesting, even sometimes employers don't have all that data. The ID numbers, the date of birth of people, where there's a passport number is important for us. An email address, if you've got one. Not everybody's got one, that's acceptable. But what is very important are the addresses. In other words, where does he work? Where does he live? And what's his postal address? Those three fields are very important to us, and there's a standard format for that. Now, historically, we never required that data. So from now on, they do need to submit that to us. We do have an ability to still accept it, but there's a warning message for the people, and we'll get to easyfile just now how that works, but there's a warning message in that regard. And then the bank account into which the salary is paid, we need that as well. And just to ensure that we've got a complete set of data. So that's in a nutshell the data that is mandatory for people to submit.
Okay, what is easyfile, employer?
easyfile came in a few years ago, and we provided the software tool, which it runs on a specific system, but you can download it from our website, or you can request a CD with it. I think it's around 50 megabytes or so. And what it basically does, it takes in the data from your payroll file in that CSV format. It does work, and you can do other things within it to, for instance, edit your employees' data, add additional certificates, etc. And it allows for an electronic upload into our systems. So it basically takes the data from the payroll and enables the upload of that data into our systems electronically. Or it allows for the creation of an encrypted disk which you can take to SARS if you don't have a fast internet connection. So that's what it enables you to do. There's other functionality we've added in it, and we will be adding more as we go to enable you to engage with SARS on other things. But for instance, it tells the employer, how far is my reconciliation? Has it been accepted? Is it still pending acceptance?
So
has it been rejected?
The progress, yeah.
And that tool enables you to to do that.
Yeah. The word that became very famous last year was the e-filing system of SARS. So does the easyfile employer form part of the e-filing system?
Yes and no. It's from the in order to use easyfile to submit to us, you need to be registered on e-filing. And it's an electronic submission into our systems, and e-filing is as well. It's another channel. But in order to, the security on easyfile is guided by your e-filing registration.
Okay.
And yes, e-filing did become a byword last year. I mean, we've got over 2 million people registered, and we're hoping to increase that substantially this year. So it's important that anybody who wishes to use this tool to submit needs to be registered on e-filing in order to do so and get the full benefit of the software that is there.
Where exactly can employers find this easyfile software?
They will be able to download it from our website, our e-filing website, www.sarsefiling.co.za, and they can go in there, click on the easyfile link, it will take you to the page. You can download the software there. Yeah. If not, you can call our contact centers and request one, which we will then post to the employer. Yeah. But we would ask rather try and get it electronically. It's far quicker. And of course you can update the software as well electronically in future, should there be updates that come in development of the software. Yeah. So those are the two channels. They can also go to the branch, and the branch will request it to be posted to the client. We don't keep discs at the branches anymore. We find the wastage is astronomical, where you've got to keep a stock on hand and then they're not requested. Rather, we have quite a quick system of getting it to the taxpayers, the employers specifically, by post. Yeah.
Now let's look at some technicalities of this filing process. Where exactly will one sign for it?
Well, you never sign electronically.
Yeah.
And one thing was remiss of me not saying is the issue that you can do this manually still. If you're still into pen and paper, you can get manual forms from our branches to fill in and to submit to us, which are then scanned into our systems and uploaded. But on those forms, we require a signature. But for electronic channels, there's what we call, there's the electronic legislation governing electronic interfaces, etc. And there's an electronic signature. So there's no physical signature required for the submission. But essentially, if we can explain the process, you take the data from your payroll, you look at it, you reconcile it to make sure the pay-as-you-earn deducted is equal to the pay-as-you-earn you paid over to us, and you submit that reconciliation to us. There's buttons to push, etc. in the software, and it is submitted. Once you push submit, that is like signing it. Yeah. And that data is uploaded to us. We look at the data, we've got certain checks and balances in place. If things balance, we give you the indication it's been accepted. If not, we'll give you an indication it hasn't been. And there's various rules required. But it's a self-assessment process, and there's no signature required.
Yeah. Now, we've spoken about some of the major changes that have been made. What other noteworthy changes has the PAYE process made?
Well, another important one, and I think it's important that we just highlight the fact, the issue of the tax reference number was going to be mandatory for this filing. Now, historically, people really only earning above 60,000 have registered with SARS. So we're sitting probably with 5 million odd people who do not have a tax reference number with us. We don't want employers to send them to the branch to go register. We don't need 5 million people walking into our branches.
So what should they do?
So what we're doing is, in the data set they submit to us, if they do not have a tax reference number, they leave it blank, they submit it to us. We will process that data, look at it, because you get different spellings of names to make sure there's no duplicates, and just to verify that we don't want to register a person twice. And we will, in time, probably early next year, give a file back electronically to the employer, to giving them the tax reference number back of those people, and we'll notify the individuals that they are now registered and welcome to the club of taxpayers. Not everybody, though, who is registered is required to submit a return. I think we need to emphasize that. Yeah. The rule of a single source of income, salary income less than 120, still applies. Although you have a tax number, don't file if you fit those criteria.
What if you're a sole proprietor?
Well, the sole proprietor has to submit because he's got a business, and that is totally separate from employment income.
Yeah.
Now, the sole proprietor's got that obligation, and obviously he could have employees which he has to submit the IRP5s to SARS of those employees as well.
So SARS is really positive about all the changes that they've made. They believe that it's actually going to work this time around really well.
Well, we believe we've made substantial improvements. We believe that we've made the submission of the data far more efficient, that there aren't restrictions in the pipe for the accepting of the data, and we're hoping and trusting that all will go well. All indications, we've run tests on the software, all indications seem to indicate that it will flow freely and correctly, provided obviously the correct data is in the files that is submitted.
Yeah. What other changes can people out there expect from SARS?
Well, going forward, there's always things that we are looking forward to do, but one of the key changes is the fact that we're going to be having what we call an IT88, and I don't want to bore people with technical details, where we appoint people, and they might not like this, by the way, this is the part they don't like, IT88, where we appoint the employer as an agent to collect taxes from the employees in the employer. And there will be a facility on easyfile where you'll be able to engage with us in that regard. There's certain people specifically with certain administrative penalties who are just continuously ignoring us, and we're going to be utilizing that facility for that in future. We're also going to bring in a process whereby we'll be able to register all new employees on a one-by-one basis in future. So you'll be able to, when a new person comes into your employee, submit data to us, and we will then register that person. Obviously, mandatory is always going to be passport number or ID. Obviously, ID in hopefully most of the people in employ in our country.